Hi Taurus, welcome to June. This is Teresa from Tarot by T. Before I start your reading, I want to call in some good energy. So this month, we have a new moon eclipse in Gemini, which is in your second house of money. We have a full moon, just a regular full moon in Capricorn, and that happens at the end of the month on the 24th. Venus moves into Cancer. Mars moves into Leo. Mercury goes direct on the 22nd. Jupiter goes retrograde and Neptune goes retrograde, which we'll get into later. Let's see what the cards say about Taurus and relationships. What does Taurus need to know about love and relationships for the month of June 2021? What is coming up for Taurus? June 2021. What does Taurus need to know about June 2021? The Knight of Pentacles, the Knight of Swords, the Hangman, the Emperor, the Two of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles, the Nine of Cups, the Ace of Cups, the Judgment, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Justice card. And the card at the bottom of the deck is the Magician. Okay, so you have the Knight of Swords. This is a card of, if it's your energy, you could be wanting to jump into something. It's a restless energy where you want to just like take action. So you could be taking quick action, and with the Hangman here, it's about leaving something for something better. It could be a relationship that you may be thinking, I need to, move from this one relationship to another. You may have felt like things were in limbo with the Hangman. You may be feeling really impatient at the start of the month. Like, I want to get this show on the road. I want things to start happening. Because this is very, if it's not you, it could be that you're dealing with someone who is argumentative. You might be dealing with someone that's been just trying to pick a fight with you. And you're like, I just can't deal with this. I need to move on. The Hangman is about making a sacrifice, giving something that you really don't want to give up. It could be a relationship, it could even be a job situation, something that makes you feel secure. But you know that it's like the best thing. Like you need to make some changes this month. You need to move on. What this card is saying, though, is don't make reckless changes. Give it some thought, take your time, don't rush into anything, and move on when the time is right. Even if you feel frustrated, just take your time, make sure you're moving into the right thing. You have the Emperor here with the Magician and the Two of Pentacles in the past. So you've been juggling a lot. I feel like there's been a lot of work energy. With the Emperor, this is like an executive energy. It's about building stability, being the boss, being the executive. The Magician is also about communication, a manifestation. So maybe you want to manifest something, like you're looking for this Emperor in relationship. You want someone who's solid, steady, someone you can depend on. You may not be dealing with that right now. You might be dealing with this Knight of Swords energy, which is someone who's very hasty, very impatient, very selfish. But you're looking for the Emperor. You want someone that you can depend on. So you might be leaving someone who's been a pain and looking for this Emperor energy in a relationship. Plus, you have the Two of Pentacles. Another one, it's an energy of juggling. So you might be busy with work, you're trying to get your career in order, you're trying to get a relationship, and it's just been crazy. And you may be pretending, sometimes with the Two of Pentacles, you're pretending everything's okay, but you're not really happy. But I feel like in 2 months, things are going to start to shift because this is a 2-month card. So it may have something may have started 2 months ago because this is in the past. But look what you have coming. You have these two aces, the Ace of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups. So I feel like for some of you, not only you'll have new love, even though you doubt it because it's in your negative thinking sector, but you'll also have a new career path. The Ace of Pentacles can be a job offer coming in. So I feel like some of you might be leaving, starting a new job, and also starting a new relationship. Not at the same time, though, because the Ace of Cups, this is potential. This is in the spot where the energies are just forming. This is more, so you might have a relationship that begins over the summer, because this is June, July, August. So maybe sometime in July. And that leads to a career opportunity later in the year. So I feel like love comes first and then career success later. But you're going to be working toward it. The energy is forming. You're putting your energy out there. And the main thing is this Magician. You have the Nine of Cups in the near future. So your dreams, your wishes are starting to manifest. And how are they doing that? They're doing that with the power of the Magician. And with your own organizational ability. You have the Emperor here. You are a leader. You have leadership abilities. You have communication skills. You have control over your thoughts. You can manifest whatever you want this month. You could at least get the ball rolling, get it started. I mean, because the way the Nine of Cups operates, it's a wish fulfillment card, and it operates through the major arcana. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major arcana. So this is a very important month for you. You have the Judgment here. The Judgment is about waking up and seeing the truth about what you need to do to change your life. So you're not going to procrastinate in June, but you don't want to, sometimes what happens is we stay in a situation where we're not happy and we put up with things because Taurus has a lot of patience. So you put up with it, you shove down your unhappiness and you get resentful. And then all of a sudden you explode. And that's when this energy takes, then you just want to do something. You don't care. I've had enough. I'm doing this. That's one thing you should not do. Don't let the energy build up to a place where you're exploding and reacting rather than making strategic moves. So don't leave a relationship on the spur of the moment. Don't leave a job on the spur of the moment in anger. Give it some thought. Think about what you really want. Visualize that outcome. And work on yourself this month because, with Mercury Retrograde squaring Neptune, I'll get into that later, this is not a time for taking action. It's more of a time for planning. And it's a time for working on ourselves, taking time out to make sure we're seeing things clearly, make sure that we know what we want, and we take baby steps to achieve that goal. But the Nine of Cups, and especially with Justice as the outcome, Justice is a karmic card. You're due for some karmic reward because you have gone through a lot in the past. You have done a lot of work on yourself. You've got the Judgment here. This is a card of rebirth. It's a card of coming out. It's like the phoenix rising from the ashes. These people are coming out of the grave because they're being reborn. So it's like an old you is dying and a new you is emerging. So you're overcoming. You're working on yourself. You're overcoming past habits and past patterns that have been blocking you. You're taking action. The Judgment card is a card of seeing the truth and taking action to affect change, being the agent of change rather than the victim of change. And you've got the Queen of Pentacles. This is your energy in your wish fulfillment. You want security. You want to feel, material success. You want financial success, material success. You want a relationship that's secure. You want to be able to give love and receive love back. You're tired of dealing with people who are selfish, like this Knight of Swords energy. And you're tired of feeling stuck. So I feel like this is going to be a good month for you to break free of whatever in your thought patterns, whatever your behavioral patterns have been holding you back. Because the Magician, if you use this energy, the Emperor energy is about creating something solid and stable, being the executive of your own life, being a leader of your own life, taking action building something solid, being responsible. The Magician is about communication, speaking up for what you need, visualizing a positive outcome. Don't focus on the problems, focus on the solution. Focus on where you want to be. Don't get stuck in the negative thinking or the victimhood. Move toward what you want to say. I am capable, I have talent, I have ability, and I see myself in this great relationship. I see myself in this great career path. And you will achieve it. You'll be surprised how much you can achieve. The Judgment also has to do with forgiveness. So you may want to turn your back on the past. You're turning your back on this energy. Look, she's facing the future. She's not seeing this person. So if you're dealing with someone who's been very selfish, someone who's very argumentative, who's bringing stress in your life, turn your back. Don't look at them. Don't look at that energy. Forgive them and move on. And leave that energy behind and focus on where you want to be. Don't focus on where you've been. Learn from where you've been, but focus on the future. And then you have Justice. Justice can mean a decision goes in your favor, especially if you're waiting for a job interview or answer. You could be the chosen one. It also means it's karmic reward. So you could be dealing with some karmic issues that are coming to an end. And then now it's time for your reward. Like you've struggled through this test, this path, and justice is going to be done. So don't feel like, if you feel like you've been taken advantage of or taken for granted, there will be a just outcome, a fair outcome in the end. But the main thing is to focus on the positive. Focus on visualizing what you want and what you want to achieve. Get that really clear in your head. Get it clear in your heart. And you can achieve it this month. You can at least get the wheels rolling. You may not get everything this month. I feel like things are not going to happen in June. It'll be more like July. Because of the Mercury Retrograde, things slow down. But you could start planning now. Start, getting your ducks in a row and to make your move the next month or down the road or over the next 6 months, because the eclipse energy lasts for 6 months. So whatever the eclipse is bringing up now, this new beginning, it's just the seed. It's just the spark. It will probably complete by November, which is what this is like December, January. So by the end of the year, you're going to be in a better place. But you have to start now by visualizing what you want, developing a strategic plan, moving away from what you don't want, focusing on yourself and improving yourself and the way you deal with life and your environment. Focus on the future, and you've got it in the bag. So let's see. The new moon eclipse is happening in your second house. This is a house of money. So it could be a new job coming in that's going to give you more financial security. But it's also the second house is also self-esteem, self-worth, what you value, what you need to feel secure. So you could have an awakening like, hey, I don't need to put up with this. I don't need to be treated like this. I'm worth something. I don't need to settle for less. I need to go after what I deserve. That could be what comes up with this eclipse. And a solar eclipse, it could eclipse a male figure from your life because you have this new awareness. A lot of times eclipses are endings and beginnings at the same time. Even though usually new moons are new beginnings, they could also be a sudden ending. The main thing, though, with this eclipse is Mercury is really close to the new moon, and it's retrograde. And Mercury is squaring, the eclipse and Mercury are squaring Neptune. And Neptune's in your 11th house. So that's the house of friendships, groups you belong to. So you could be making a break with some friends or some groups. Maybe your goals are changing. Maybe you might leave something behind that it doesn't fit anymore, and you move towards something that's more what you want. So I feel like there's some change. There's going to be some shifts, but I think you're moving in a positive direction. Just with Mercury square Neptune, though, the reason why I'm saying don't take sudden action, because you may not be seeing everything clearly. You need Mercury going direct. You need Mercury to move away from Neptune, because you might be imagining things that there might be, you may not know all the facts. There might be some deception. There might be misunderstandings in communication. So you want to get clarity before you take action. So that's why I'm saying hold off on don't do anything rash in June. Wait until Mercury moves away from Neptune and goes direct. So July, that's when you're going to start to see the reality, especially, and also by the full moon in Capricorn. That's another reality energy. You have Saturn in the 10th house. So that's the house of career. So there could be some career achievement this month because this new moon, this new beginning is trining Saturn. So you may see the truth about relationship, with Neptune square Mercury. There might be, if someone's coming to you with some BS story, you want to look deeper. Maybe they're not telling you the whole story. But the moon trining Saturn is a great thing. I feel like there's a career opportunity coming up that could lead to something that's long-term and that's very stable and can bring you into some kind of leadership position. Now, just before this new moon eclipse, Venus moves into Cancer. And just after the eclipse, Mars moves into Leo. But before Mars moves into Leo, Mars will oppose Pluto from the 4th to the 10th house. So there could be some power struggles between whatever's happening in your home. So you could be battling with someone in the home because Mars has been traveling through your 4th house. And you could be having conflict with career matters in the 10th house. If it's a relationship, there could be a shift in your relationship. So you could go from married to single or single to married. I feel like there's more of you need to assert yourself in a relationship issue, or assert yourself in a home issue, or with actually the Mars and Venus are in the 3rd house. So it has to do with communication. I'm sorry, Mars is in the 3rd house and Pluto's in the 9th house. So this has to do with communication, and you might be maybe dealing with someone from a distance. There could be some power struggles over a communications project. Someone might be wanting you to do certain things one way, and you have another way of doing something. But Venus moving into Cancer will help. It will help, and Mars will moving out of the 3rd house into your 4th house will help. When Venus moves into the 3rd house, your communication style will be more charming. There'll be more. You'll be getting along better with relatives and friends. So if you've been going through a difficult time, that's because Mars has been in your 3rd house. Mars is moving out. But not before there's a big showdown with Pluto. So there'll be something to work out. But once you work things out, you need to speak up for what you want and what you need. But don't be rigid about it, because Mars-Pluto energy is very volatile. So you could get really angry with someone and have an outburst. Don't go there. Just try to resolve things in a peaceful way. Venus will be sextiling Uranus this month when she moves into Cancer. And Uranus is in your 1st house. So this is a good time to get out and socialize again. You might have been, frustrated from being locked down. I think that this month there could be some sudden developments, maybe even sudden relationships developing around friends and family, because you're getting out and you're meeting people. Venus will be trining Neptune, and you have Neptune in your 11th house. So there could be when Venus moves into a trine with Neptune, your relationships are going to get better with friends and family. And it's also, if you're doing anything creative, if you're doing any kind of creative writing or any kind of like an internet project or communications project, you're going to have a lot of inspiration. You're going to have a lot of creativity. So the best way to deal with the Neptune energy is just doing something creative. And you could be connecting with people, with friends, and it could be maybe you're doing something together with them. Neptune is maybe something creative. You might be getting together with friends and doing something creative, or you might be having just better communication overall. Chiron is in Aries, so you have some psychological things that you need to work on. Chiron in the 12th house, there's some wounds that need to be brought to the surface. And it's sextiling Saturn Chiron is sextiling Saturn. So there could be some wounds that have to do with your status, your career. Maybe you need to admit that you have some self-sabotaging behaviors that you need to work on, some baggage that is preventing you from claiming your authority, from taking responsibility, from stepping into a role of authority where you're taking charge. So you could be solving that this month. Let's see what else is happening. Saturn will be squaring Uranus. Uranus is in your first house. Saturn's in the 10th house. So you really need to, you could have a rebirth where you're changing how you're being seen, especially in public, because Saturn, the 10th house is your public house. It's also your career house. So you're going to be making changes where people are going to see you in a different light. And they're going to see that you have leadership ability, that you have executive ability. And that's going to come to the surface because of all the work you've been doing on yourself, especially, confronting psychological blocks in the past. So then we have this full moon in Capricorn on June 24th. And that's just after Mercury goes direct. So Mercury goes direct on the 22nd, but it really doesn't get out of its shadow till July. But things will start to work better. There won't be so much confusion and miscommunication and delays. We're coming out of that period. But this full moon, you'll see the truth. The truth will come out because Capricorn shows you the reality. And with the 3rd and the 9th house, the 9th house has to do with education, higher education, travel, learning, teaching, learning. The 3rd house has to do with communication, siblings, relatives. So you're going to see where you stand with your family relationships. You're going to also see where you stand. Maybe you need to learn some new skills. And that's going to be apparent now. And you're going to spend some energy developing those skills. This moon is sextile Jupiter. And Jupiter's in your 11th. So there could be a friendship that brings, or a group that you belong to, that brings you a positive connection. Jupiter in the 11th is great because Jupiter is helping you achieve a goal or a dream. Jupiter is bringing you abundance in terms of the money you make from the career you're in. Venus will be opposing Pluto at this time. Venus will be at 26 degrees Cancer and Pluto will be at 26 Capricorn. So there could be some power struggles with a female relative or friend. Maybe someone at a distance. So you want to be aware of that and tread carefully, but use communication to resolve any issues. Now, at this point, by the full moon, Mars is in Leo, and it's squaring Uranus in the 1st house. So you could be, if you haven't resolved any issues in the home, there could be some sudden conflicts that come up between home and career. You might feel you're being pulled in 2 directions. And you have it's creating a T-square with Uranus in your 1st house. So you may feel like I want to be freed from something. Like I need to free myself from some obligation I've taken on. Maybe you've taken on too much and you just can't do it all. And you have to let go of some things. But you're going to be pulled in 2 directions during this time. And you may have to, speak up. Don't be resentful. Don't hold your anger in. Speak up and communicate. And you might have to just take action and get organized. Maybe you're doing work around the house. It's not always negative. I mean, Mars in the 4th house can be fighting with people that you live with, but it could also mean taking action to get things done around the house. You might be working from home or fixing up your house in some way. But you will have a lot of obligations because Saturn in the 10th usually brings responsibility, obligations, and you're going to be trying to juggle all that. Mercury is in your 2nd house. It has been retrograding in your 2nd house, so there could be some miscommunication around money. That's going to get resolved once it starts to go direct. But you're also going to have to communicate, too, about what you need to feel secure. If you're not making enough in your job, and you need a raise, might be a good time to talk about it. If there's been some confusion, because you have Neptune in the 11th, you might have to you might have a misunderstanding with a friend over money. That's another thing that you need to work on. What else? And then Neptune goes retrograde. So Neptune, when it goes retrograde, it brings clarity. When Neptune's going direct, sometimes we have confusion. So I feel like at this full moon, you're going to get to hear the truth about what's been, but if something's been confusing you, if there's been miscommunication, or you're going to get clarity around a relationship, a friendship, or the groups that you belong to. And it could involve money. There could be some financial aspect to this confusion or misunderstanding. But you'll get a chance to clarify that when Neptune goes retrograde. Because Mercury will go direct and Neptune will go retrograde. It's going to, it'll separate that square. And I feel like it's going to bring more clarity, especially if you communicate. So you need to have a conversation with someone around this time. And that will create more harmony in your relationships. That will clear up some of the confusion or the miscommunication, so that everyone's on the same page. You can't just sweep things under the rug. You need to talk about what's bothering you. But you will. You have judgment here. You're changing. You're showing a new side of you, a more take charge side, more of a leadership ability, an organizational ability. You're going to show people who you really are this month, and even going on to the in the next month too, because you're changing on deep levels, and you're freeing yourself from whatever's been holding you back, and you're showing a new face to the world because you have Uranus going through your first house. So I think this is going to be a pivotal month for you, where things are going to be changing in a positive way, and you're going to start to manifest some of the things you've always wanted to achieve. But so don't give up the vision, don't give up the hope. Walk away from something that's been stressing you out too much. If you've been taking on someone else's burden or taking on something that just doesn't make sense anymore, leave it behind and focus on where you want to go and where you want to be. And you'll be fine. You've got this new energy coming in. So just focus on the positive. Focus on your dreams and your goals, and you can achieve them. But don't forget to speak up at the same time. So that's my forecast for June. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, click on the like button, click on the subscribe button. If you would like a private reading, click on the link in the description box. It'll take you to my website. And in the meantime, Taurus, thank you for supporting this channel. Leave a comment if you find that this reading resonates with you. I love to read all the comments. So have a wonderful June, and I will talk to you again next month. Okay, bye now.